Hi everybody, this is Carolyn Durley and this is the session on the power of social media. So let's get started. So the key ideas of this session are what social media has become to me. First of all, it is my rocket fuel for collaboration. It has provided me collaboration like no other tool I have ever used, and that is both inside and outside of the classroom. It is effortless, it is free, it already exists. I don't have to create anything. It doesn't cost any money to use, and students are already using it. So I don't have to convince them to check my website. I don't have to send them an email. It's the easiest thing going, and it makes learning instantaneously social, which I think is the whole reason we're in school, to make it a social setting, to have to leverage the power of being social. It makes learning transparent, so it makes students care about their spelling, about pictures that they take. It makes them take pride, and it is, as I said at the top, it is collaborative, and I think this is the secret to many aspects of getting kids to buy in, that collaboration. So I really do think that collaboration is everything. And the last thing I'll say about collaboration is that if we as teachers haven't collaborated, it's probably going to be very hard for us to encourage or model or help students to understand what it takes to collaborate. So I always start my screencast by listing the vocabulary, and so I'm just modeling that for you here, that practice. So C generation is the generation that is connected 100% of the time, right? They walk around with a phone in their hand. They wake up and they start to check their social media. They're texting. This is what they do. This is part of who they are. This is part of their identity. And up until about a year ago, I have to say, I really didn't understand, and I saw it as far away from me. Twitter is my favorite social media. I find it just immensely engaging. A PLN is a personal learning network. This is a group of people that you build and find over time. Facebook, I think we're all familiar with that. Facebook group is what I have used in my classroom. This year I invited personal electronic devices into the classroom, and so you can either use the word PED for that or BYOD, bring your own device. I avoided that one because of the connotation with high school students. I also started to blog this year, and a year ago again would have said blogging is for crazy people, and now I am one of those crazy people. WordPress is the site that I use to host my blog, and I have to say I like it. So let's get started. First thing I did, last year or the year before, I started a Facebook group with my students, and I found it immediately successful. It offered so many things I can't even tell you. It was fun, it was social, students checked it, and they still do, and so I absolutely love it. So I've used it now this is my third year, and this year probably I use it the most. I don't friend my students. When you create a group, you don't have to friend anybody in it, and it is hands down the best way to get hold of students. I haven't found any other way. Calling home, besides, right, if you have their text, their phone number, and you text them, Facebook, they'll get back to you within seconds. I also held study sessions online, and I would have up to, at one time, 35 students, and they would come and go within the session, ask questions, and we'd either do it out on the wall, some ask students out there, and some ask in the chat room. But lots of people would just sit and linger and watch, and so this was a fabulous way. I was at home in my PJs. I wasn't in the classroom stuck there. I was at home with my family. And I was doing an online tutorial. It is also a bulletin board. Students can post pictures. We take pictures in class, and they like this. They like posting comments. So I highly recommend it. I really enjoy it. I've also used Twitter in the classroom, and I'm finding just this year students are starting to get on Twitter. Last year they thought it was novel and neat, but they weren't really on Twitter, so it wasn't as effective. This year, and at the end of the year, I found more and more students who are now on Twitter. I would recommend having a professional account, one for your own self in your own life, and then an account that you have specifically for your students. I don't follow students and parents. They can follow me and hear my tweets about, and I just use Twitter for reminders. I also use it in class if we want to have a conversation or ask questions as a review before a quiz, or even during a quiz. I've sometimes used it. And it's just a fun way to communicate. Outside of class, hands down, Twitter is the best prody of my life. And I am a little bit fanatical about it. I cannot tell you how powerful a tool it has become for me. It is my go-to learning. I do it. That's the best place I've found to learn. It's fast, it's furious. I can learn about whatever I want. I can choose. It's exciting, it's funny. It's everything that a person wants in learning. Just start slowly, have fun, and be yourself. Don't be afraid to be authentic. It takes a while to get a hang of it, but it is well worth it. I also started blogging, and at first I found it really difficult. Now I almost crave it. It's like when you start running and you think, what is this crazy running stuff? And then you get into it and you're like, running, oh my goodness, I can hardly wait for my run. And blogging has become that me time where I really reflect deeply in a way that I have to say I never did in my practice before. I've also gotten amazing feedback and made amazing connections, and it's just been an amazing journey, the starting a blog and getting it up and running. So I use Twitter in my own life. It's a professional account. I wouldn't say it's not for social, as in I'm not on here with my friends. I'm on here with my what I call my PLN, and I use TweetDeck. I really like it. You can just use the straight old Twitter, but this is how I use Twitter, through TweetDeck. My blog, I like it because it's personal, but I get to try out new ideas in a safe, protected kind of way. I get feedback from people, and I really like reading other people's blogs. That's where I've gotten most of my new ideas, and it connects people all over the place, and slowly it's like a spider web of connectivity between teachers, like-minded and not, and it just builds upon itself. So I would highly recommend it if you're up for that. And that's just a picture of my blog. You want to choose a name. It's hard to think of names, and I wish I had all my names that were the same, but oh well, can't have everything in the world. So I would ask you, can you describe for us and yourself, what is your social media usage? What do you use social media for? Can you imagine using social media in your classroom? Do you think it's too over the top? Do you think it's crazy? It's overkill? And can you imagine blogging or tweeting or other? Do you see that fitting into your teacher life? Hope that helped.